we're actually in a state of grief. We're losing what we thought the world was. It's already gone, what we thought the world was. We're losing institutions as we speak. The institutions can't handle the intensity or the rapidity of the transformation trying to happen. And so one result of that, everybody turns against each other. But another result of it is grief. That, and at the same time as those polarities are happening, you have more refugees in the world than at any other time that anyone can refer to. And that means more people without home. And then at the same time, in various places, we have more people going through hunger and famine. And so all those things are a grief to the soul. And even though it's hard to deal with them, and many people, deny it or have a defense against it, the honest thing is, when we hear about a tragedy, when we hear about the starvation happening in Palestine, forget the politics, forget the religious stuff. Just think of the people, the children, the infants, and all that. That's a grief. It's a grief on our souls. And so grief is another aspect of the polarization. And grief is a complex emotion, but my understanding of the motion of grief, right? So every emotion has emotion. I mean, the way I arrived at that was to realize the word emotion is an E with motion. So each emotion is a motion, and the motion of grief is letting go. Grief is like a river that's going to wash everything that is no longer alive out of the system. When a person weeps and cries, that water, that river, is moving the weight of loss, but also those things that have lost life out of the body and out of the psychological system. And so there is a relief. And so grief is an aspect of being alive now these days. And the more that we can honestly accept and allow the grief to move through us, the more alive we are. The result of grieving is aliveness, unless a person gets stuck in grief, and that's a different thing. But if the grief moves through, we're more alive. The old idea is that the emotions travel in pairs, and grief travels with joy. And we go down with the river of grief, and if we allow it to happen, then we come back up with joy rising, lifting us back up. That's an old idea. No one knows how long that takes. No one knows the burden of grief that another person has. But that's a basic way to look at it.